but
Huh?
I wasn't sure. That's why.
No, no, no. Tell me, please remind me. So
Okay.
anyway, what is the last thing that you heard before I get disconnected?
You were trying to explain the group work assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Okay, perfect.
the
Okay,
titles. Yeah.
okay. So, okay, let me share my screen. Okay, and I'm sorry. As I told you, I'm not in Canada, and the connection in Egypt comes and goes, and it varies throughout the day. So hopefully nothing will happen. Okay. So if something happens, please let me know. Okay. So for this assignment, you will work in a group of 4 students, and your team is supposed to be working in an organization, and your team is assigned to create a project management guidebook for your organization. So you select the field of your organization. Is it in construction, for example? Is it in IT? Is it a non-for-profit? So you selected the organization first, and then you work on your guidebook, and your guidebook should include specific templates: project charter template, project plan template, project status report, work schedule, work breakdown structure, timesheets, communication plan, risk management plan, Gantt chart, and any additional template that you think that for this specific field you need to include. So uh, you are allowed to consult the internet. You are not required to create something from scratch. So go in online, find the templates that you can find, select the best ones, compare these templates, and think, okay, how can I merge these templates to create the best one? So you can use free templates, ready-made templates, or sometimes there are templates provided by project management software, project management applications that you can use as well. But you will create only one project charter template. Don't create more than one. And try to include as much information in your template, so it will be easier for your organization when you apply these templates to manage projects effectively. Okay, I'm just checking that I'm still online. um, okay, for each template, include a brief description. What is this template? What's the purpose of this template? For example, what are the basic information of this template? And also a how to use section. So if there are certain calculations, for example, include uh, the formula, for example. If there are certain abbreviations that you use, you will include the full term. So it will be easier for any project manager to use your guidebook and see, okay, I need to use this template. This is how I prepare it. These are the information that I need to gather and collect and so on. Okay. As I said, consult the internet, use free resources, ready-made templates, and create your own. Okay. The the software to use only the micro office. So you can use Word, you can use PowerPoint, you can use Excel to create tables, for example, and you merge everything in one file and make it like a PDF, and you send it to me. Oh, no, no, sorry, you submit it online. So this time I created a Dropbox, and the Dropbox will end. So you will not be allowed to drop your submission after Sunday, 12th of April at 12 a.m. Okay? Any question regarding the group?
Did you say 12th of April?
No, 17th.
17th. Okay.
Yeah, 17th.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, at 12 a.m. And this is Washington time. Okay, any question regarding the assignment? And I need you to send me an email saying who are the team members in group 1 and in group 2.
I can send you an email regarding our own group, but the
Yes,
other group, I
yes.
I don't know
So,
about.
okay. So can you tell me now who are your group members?
Okay. Yeah, it's me and Rudas, and it's I think Neros and
Mm-hmm.
Sarah.
And
Let me
Sarah.
check. Yeah.
Okay. So,
For my
okay.
group, for my group, it's me and
Mhm.
Isulu so far.
Okay. So these are two names.
Yes, we haven't found any other person who wanted to join.
Okay. Now we have Wellington and we have Saida Miri.
Yes, I'm happy to join with Sarah. It was Sarah, I think. Who was with
Shiru.
this two person? Group two.
Yeah, and Wellington. Okay. So, okay, to
Okay.
communicate with each other, please email me your emails and I will make it available to everyone. Can you see each other emails? You don't know each other's
No,
emails?
but
No,
We have
no
created a
professor.
web.
what's up?
Okay. So what I will do is that I will email you with everyone's email on, of course, the university, so you can communicate with each other, and you create your WhatsApp or whatever. It's okay. Yeah, yeah, it's okay to your own group. Yeah. Okay. So any question before we move? Hello? Oh, it
No
says
question,
me.
miss. No question.
Yes, yes.
No question. No, no question.
Oh, no questions. Okay. Okay. I have sorry, I'm having background noises, so you know. Okay. So let's have a 10-minute break, and then when we regroup, we will focus on the new topic. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So see you in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Bye. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Professor.
Yes. Hi. Okay, so we will dive into our today's topic. It's all about project control. And it's very, very important. That's why most of the organization, the project management organizations and project management guidebooks, um, and even um, um, educational institutions, they prefer to teach control on their own. I used to teach last term a course on project management governance, project governance and control, and it was all about project control. And in some fields, you will have some project managers or team members are specialized in the control area. So today, the control issue stands for three basic principles. The first one, a fundamental purpose of project management is to be in control of projects as they progress. Remember the triangle? We want to control the cost, we want to control the quality, and we want to control time. We have to finish the project within budget, on time, and according to quality standards. That's why we need to have so many tools, strategies to control all aspects of the project. Just a second. There are well-developed methods for remaining in control of the project. As I said many times in the past few lectures or weeks, project management field is one of the well-established fields. They started early in the 60s to create specialized institutions, organizations. They started to take out the project management discipline from the bigger management discipline. So also control as part of project management is also advanced field or area. And we have so many methods, strategies, theories, and tools available for us as project managers. Despite one and two, these two principles, the methods require critical evaluation of their effectiveness. This is very important. Not everything is applicable to any field. There is no one size fits all. That's why we have different tools. That's why sometimes organizations, they create their own tools. And also the Project Management Institute, the American equivalent of the British one, talks about integrated change control. Because change is very, very applicable at any project. We start with a scope and then we change elements of this scope. Sometimes we start with a design and we change things in the design and we end up with a totally different design. So when we approach change within the project, we have to approach it in an integrated way to establish how changes will occur, how these changes will happen, how they are to be evaluated, how we will evaluate these changes, who will evaluate those changes. For example, who has the capacity to request change? We can say, okay, in this project, the client has no capacity or no right to ask for changes once the scope is approved. Who will accept the change or not? Do we have clause in our, for example, contract that says, okay, as an organization, I cannot refuse any change request from the client? There are some fields, okay, the client has some power to ask for changes or modification. Who will implement the change? Who will assess the impact of these requests on the scope and performance? And of course, when we talk about scope, we are talking about the budget. What is the effect of these changes on the budget? What is the effect of these changes on the timeline? What is the quality will be after we implement these changes? And all these elements we need to think about, and we need to have tools in place that allow us to initiate change, request it, assess it, approve it, or disapprove it. We can reject it. And also control the budget and control the timeline and control everything so we don't lose track of these things. So today, we will learn how to identify the elements of a control system now, because it's an integrated approach. So we have a system appropriate to a particular project. Determine the key performance measures that will be controlled by the system. Select appropriate tools and techniques that will enable us to control the project. So the concept of control, there are basic requirements for any successful control system. And this is very good because it gives me flexibility to choose the right tools to include to my system. So defining system characteristics of importance. This is very important. There are certain changes or certain elements in the project are more important than other elements. Defining limits to variation. I cannot give customer carte blanche to request whatever changes they want. There should be some limits on the variation. Measurement of those characteristics, how I will measure the change, how I will assess the change. Making progress visible. What are the tools that will enable me to inform everyone in the team about the progress of the project? Also, what are the tools or techniques that we will include to gather feedback about the performance? And instituting corrective action where required. Sometimes changes are based on certain challenges or problems that we need to correct or we need to prevent from happening. Or sometimes we have a request for change and it doesn't happen, so we need to correct. So how can we institute corrective actions? Make it on an institutional level, how we can deal with corrective actions so we make sure that they happen correctly, they get the results that we are aiming to achieve, and we are assessing everything. Defining system characteristics of importance. Let's focus on the importance. This is the second one, defining limits to their variation. Okay, measurement of characteristics, how we can measure these characteristics. Also, assessing the quality, for example, of a construction project. Okay, now we have a construction project. How can we assess? What are the tools? So now let's think together. Okay, we have inputs, then we have a transformation process to transform inputs to outputs. So we can, these are some examples. Designs, these are the inputs. Suitability, suitably qualified labor. Do we have workers that are qualified? They have the skills. Are they available or not? Defect-free, correctly ordered materials. What is this? We ordered materials from suppliers. So we want to make sure that we ordered the right material. So maybe there is a code or there is a serial number. Also, we need to make sure that we ordered the right quantities. How this will be reflected in the system? Okay, we use forms, for example, and using these forms will make us to include all these information and data. Defect-free. How we will make sure that our supplier or vendor sends us the right material, the right quantities, and with no defects. So in my tools that I use in my system, there should be some elements showing this. See, from field to field, this will be different. For example, if I am working in the food bank, for example, and I have something related to inputs, how to make sure that I store these foods, donations, for example, or purchases the right way, in the right temperature, in the right place, distributed in the right way so they don't go bad or something like this. So we include these elements to control the inputs. Then I need to control the process, because remember, the project is done to transform inputs into outputs or deliverables. Use of appropriate methods. For example, am I handling this material the right way? Am I using this machine the right way? Am I using the tools available or needed the right way? Checks of work carried out. How can I check the work that we did wrong or right? So maybe I create a form using my project management system, for example, as a software or something, and set reminders to check certain works at certain times and use certain tools to do something. Okay. Also the output. We need to control the output. Number of defects in final result, for example. This could be one piece of information that I need to track. Also, a very, very important customer or user sign off. This could be at the end of a step, at the end of a stage, or at the end of the project. So I need to include these things in my control system. Making progress visible. Again, this is important. Everyone in the team should be aware of the progress that we are doing. And this is related to the performance. Are we on time? Are we on track, are we delivering the work that is supposed to be delivered at this date? How do we collect feedback about our performance? If we rely only on verbal feedback, it's not enough. How we can document it? So sometimes we mandate the documentation of a progress and feedback. So if the team members are working together, we might have some points to check in if there are any problems in communication or in working or in applying skills or so on. Also, in instituting corrective actions. So we have a time and we have this desired output. In this case, there is some experiment. They are seeing a certain ball moving in a tray, and throughout the time, what the ball is acting. So I included this because I want to show you here. You can have charts to represent whatever information that you need to be represented. So here I have two characteristics that I want to assess and measure: time and also distance from entire center of tray. So the distance between this ball and the center of this tray. And I keep measuring this distance. Okay, I will stop sharing for a while so the noises in the background fade off. Okay, I'm back. And there is a desired point. So there is a certain output that I want from this step. And I measure this output in relatively to time. So for example, in quality management, we used to have quality charts where we include, for example, some information is number of defects across the time. And we have certain limits that we don't want these numbers to exceed, or in some cases to go under. And we keep tracking this all the time. So we have two ways here. Either we have a stable system or we have unstable system. So if the ball goes to different distances all the time, it means that I don't have a stable system. If the output is keep changing all the time, it means that I don't have a stable system. If problems and challenges keep arising all the time, again, I don't have a stable system. However, the second graph, it shows that there is a certain movement, but it's not so severe like the previous the top graph. So the second one is a stable system. because the changes in the output are not too big and within limits. So we need to maintain this. That's why we are trying to institute corrective action. So we set certain corrective action that increases the quality all over the organization or all over the project. And we might have certain levels for the control system. So I have control systems within the activity. So okay, I do certain steps. I have, for example, 10 steps. So I have a step here between 4 and 5 to check something. So I don't keep working on something that's not the right quality, for example. And then I have another checkpoint at the end of the steps. And this is at the activity level. Then sub-project level. So when we have different activities and these activities lead to another level, so we have another checkpoint. And I might have some checkpoints that check the overall project level. And we have feedback mechanisms and reporting mechanisms. So to have an effective control system, I have to have activity level checkpoints, sub-project level, and overall project level. Also, I need tools or mechanisms for reporting and tools and mechanisms for feedback and control actions. Any questions so far? Okay, good. Configuration control, I need to have certain mechanisms to control different configuration of the project. For example, I need to have control over the scope changes. And according to the Project Management Institute, they explain scope change control as follows. When a change is requested from wherever it comes, it can be from within the organization, it can come from a team member, and it comes from the government, for example. Some new laws are enacted, so we need to comply. But when we started the project, these laws were not in place yet. The customer also might request a change. So we have a certain change from wherever it comes. So we need to have a set of procedures that are required to determine the impact of this request on the original scope statement. Maybe it will change the scope, and the scope of the project is the description of what we are doing, what is expected to be delivered. This may mean reworking the work breakdown structure because of these changes. This can mean that ordering the different material, for example, or extending work hours, or playing something that can affect the budget or the timeline. So we need to configure these changes, and we have a control over these changes. So there are certain techniques of control. I can control the quality. I can control conformance. So there are certain policies, rules, regulations, whether it's coming from the organization itself, mandated by the government, or requested from the customer. So am I conforming to these requirements or not? Performance. Is the project the project performance and progress according to the plan or not? control over cost and time, control over earned value. Okay, whenever I'm working, I'm earning value for the work that I'm doing. So I need to measure the earned value on different points throughout the project life cycle. So I might use some formulas. For example, cost performance indicators. So I see what earned value that I have and the actual spend and the actual money that I spend. The ideal here is to have cost performance indicator of 1. We planned to create certain amount of projects, of output, and the actual money spent is this. If my earned value is the same as my actual spend, I'm good. If it is more, it means that I'm under budget. I spent less and I earned more. If it is the opposite, I'm over budget. Same for schedule performance. To understand, am I on schedule or not? Again, the value of the work that is done and the plan spent. For example, we give an example of painting a room. And it will take us 3 days, for example, to paint this room. And there are certain steps. For example, let's say these are 30 steps that we need to do in the 3 days. And we do some steps. The value of these steps is, for example, $10. So if I do step 1, 2, 3, I should spend $10. But actually, I spent 12. So my cost performance indicator is 10 over 12. Let me calculate it quickly. No. 0.8. It means that I am over budget. It means that I'm over budget because I spent more and I earned less. For schedule, what the earned value, for example, it's 10 and the planned is 10. So I'm on time. The earned value, the value of the work that I did is 10 and the planned was 8. So the value that I did is actually 10 and the planned is 8. It is 1.25. It means that I'm ahead of the schedule by 25%. We have another formula, estimated cost at completion. Okay, with the progress I'm doing now, what is the estimated cost when I complete the project? So I will go to the original budget of the project and the cost performance indicators that I had from the first formula, and I can estimate the cost of the work or the project at completion. It might be something different than the original budget because I might go over budget or under budget. Also, estimated time of completion. So we have the original time estimate. I will finish this project at this time. And we have the schedule performance indicator. So it means that, okay, I will not be able to finish this project on time. I might need extra 2 weeks. We also use the critical chain, the critical path, when I have different routes within the project, and some paths or some steps are creating a critical path for the project. I might have some visual controls. I think I have created something here. Okay, right here. Oh, visual controls. Okay. So I might create something like these charts. Remember when we have this chart? I might create some charts like this where I track certain values and I see visually how these are changing, like quality charts, for example. Real-time control. So I measure some characteristics on time. Also, there is the concept of last planner, and you will find in your book they explain this. So we have all these numbers, all these plans. So I will check the last planner that we created, and I will compare what I have in the last planner with what we have now. So the Project Management Institute, they talk about schedule control. It provides a means to keep the project consistent with original objectives, but recognizing the changes will occur during the process. This system should be able to show the impact of events. Whatever the control system I will design for my project, it has to have some elements to show if changes happen, how this will impact my project, possible and actual. So I have the event, I don't have last number yet, an end result, and I might, have some rough estimate of the possible changes and the possible impact, and then I compare it with the actual when it happens to assess in decision making. Why we do this? Because we need to take decision, terminate this, change this, approve this, reject this. It should also be capable of keeping stakeholders informed of progress and future plans. That's why we create a communication plan. Remember, I go to my communication plan. It shows that I have to communicate with this person if these events happen, and to report the progress of the project. Can you see my screen? Because
No,
for
Professor.
no, you don't.
Yes, I can see it.
No.
Okay, can you see schedule control now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Because in a second it didn't show that you can see it. It's okay. So we need to have some tools to enable us to have some control over the schedule. We need to have some control over the cost. So we need to create a system to track costs. So usually we buy project management software or applications. So we need to check if the software is giving me the ability to track costs, and also to represent the effect of these changes and report these to the right people, the stakeholders. Typically, this might include assessment of earned value that we talked about, and any updates to the budget. We need again to include quality. the application of the principles of manufacturing quality control to a project processes, because we used what the manufacturing field were using. When I told you about quality charts, for example, this is coming from manufacturing. So we make sure that we apply some tools on the project, so we make sure that we are within the quality standards, including defect prevention, inspection, reporting. This is very important, defect prevention. So we are trying to prevent issues that will compromise the quality of our deliverables. Risk monitoring and control. We spent some time talking about risk management, and risk monitoring was an element of risk management, identifying risks, assessing the impact of the risk, the probability of this risk to happen, how I will deal with it, how can I monitor these processes to make sure that we don't get into this risk. A system of identifying, quantifying, mitigating risks as they emerge through the life of the project. This will involve the updating of the risk log. Remember when we created a risk log or risk register, and interface with other control systems. Also, we need to create elements of reporting. We need a system or tools to gather information and data regarding the performance of people, the performance of the project, performance of certain steps, and then report it to the right stakeholder. And this system should include, okay, what's the current state of the project, what is planned, and what is forecasted. So how can this will impact the performance of the whole project, and who to report this to? Okay, here is a question for you. How do measures of conformance and performance differ? These words are somehow close, but they are not so close. So we will go into teams and we will discuss how you can measure conformance and performance, and can these two measures be different or not. Okay? So let's go into teams. Let's have 2 rooms. And let's have a timer. Let's discuss for 15 minutes or less. What do you think? Let's discuss for 15 minutes. How you can measure conformance and how you can measure performance, and how these two could be different.
Hello?
Yes?
not sure.
Yeah. Would you please join your rooms?
The option didn't come to me.
Yeah,
Oh.
same here.
Oh, this is very strange.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me do it again. Um, okay, check now. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Is the time discussion finished?
Yes.
Welcome back. So how was your discussion?
I think we had 15 minutes for discussion.
15? No, I don't know. It was like 10. It was 10 and then it finished. So you didn't manage to discuss? Let's discuss together now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know a little about performance and conformance.
Mm-hmm.
I, if anybody else want to speak up, so I can. Should
Okay,
I?
let's try by
Go on, please,
defining.
Mr. Ahmed.
Yes. Yeah, if you can tell us what's the difference between performance and conformance.
So I think that it is conformance versus performance usually. So conformance is something which is pre-planned for a project. For example, we can say that we can ask ourselves how we can complete this project within time, or how we can complete this project within budget. But within performance, we will say that what is the shortest possible project duration, how we can complete this project faster than the plan. So I think that and the measurement of conformance we usually measure by elements such as time, cost, and quality. And so I think that performance is something minimum, but conformance is no I conformance is the minimum the minimum way to achieve our objectives, but conformance is something. I think I messed it up, but
Who has
Yeah.
a different approach?
Okay. So we can say conformance is backward looking, uh, which means it assures to stakeholders that the organization is working efficiently and effectively.
Mm-hmm.
But performance is forward looking, which is focused more on value creation and resource utilization. It can even focus on the strategy of the organization.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see what we have here um, in the book and what they say about this. As I told you, these um, words are, similar but not so similar. Conformance, if you check what's written in the book, the establishment and management of an effective system of control to control the quality of procedures, products and services is a role of increasing importance in project management. The quality system contains a number of key elements. What are the key elements? Policies, system description, and procedures. The the policies for quality control are determined and set out either as part of the organizational policy or as required by contractual terms. So we have a policy, and the policy mandates certain standards. Even before I apply any planning to the project, there is a policy. For example, um, there is some minimum requirement in to report budgets, for example, to finance. So whenever I have something, we have to pay for it within 1 month, for example. Or I have a policy to select vendors. So the policy, even before I start planning the project, I will go and I will check, do we have policies here that mandate certain things? So I included in my planning. Do we have certain procedures? For example, approval for design. So the engineer or the engineers or the engineering team will work on the design. There are certain elements. There should be a committee to evaluate the design. Any change in the design should be approved by the department head. So this is a procedure. Also, they could be mandated by the government. You cannot work on a design unless you get a permit. Okay? So conformance, the word itself, let's search for the definition of conformance. Okay. It's another word for conformity. Let's see. Compliance with standards, rules, or laws. There are certain standards, rules, or laws in this field that my company has to adhere to. Behavior on accordance with socially accepted conventions, sometimes on personal level, okay? So conformance, it means that there is something pre-set or pre-designed and it is mandated by the project team to follow it, to adhere to work according to, okay? Okay, what they say here. The, sorry. Sorry, I'm still struggling with my bronchitis. So let's see what's written in the book. Okay, they say here, the objective of such quality control is to provide a formalized, it's a formal system within the project system, which ensures that the needs of customers or the stated objectives of the system are continually being met. There are certain standards that I have to meet every time. Why we do this? To protect the project organization from legal liability. There could be some legal issues with the government. Maybe there will be some negligence. The organization, through its quality system, can demonstrate that it has taken every reasonable precaution to ensure that the project was carried out and ensure that the stated needs were met. So we have policies and procedures in place within the organization that the project team has to adhere to. Let's see performance. Performance. The control of stakeholders' expectation and perceptions has been identified as vital if businesses are to achieve customer satisfaction and retain customers' profitability. For a non-revenue generating project such as organizational change, managing expectations and perceptions is an ongoing challenge. So here we are trying to manage expectations. Don't create expectations that cannot be delivered. So don't over promise. When you design a timeline for the project, you have to design the timeline in a logic way that we can do it. As a minimum, a project should have the characteristic of the paint advert that stated it does exactly what it says on the tin. What do they mean? It means that we promise something and we deliver on the promise. Measure expectations and perceptions. The issue has here is vital for control. That throughout the process, we recognize the importance of stakeholders where deviations or divergence are deviations. These small diversions from the plans are uncovered. It is often possible to make very small changes that will bring the perceptions back into line. That's why we calculate this cost index and we calculate the schedule index to understand, are we above budget, are we under budget, are we within the time limits, are we behind, or what. So in conformance, we have certain policies, procedures that are mandated on us. And we try to manage or control our conformity and working accordance to these policies and procedures. In performance, we have a plan, we have a promise that we will deliver certain deliverables within certain time, within budget. So when we measure performance, we measure how much did we do of the plan. In conformance, we measure, are we adhering to or not? If there is a small deviation with the conformance, we have to change it. We have to conform to the policy and procedures. When we have certain small deviation in the performance, I have to find ways to be within budget again, to be within time again, to be within quality standards again. Okay, any question in this? Okay. Communicate and control information. As you can see, we are collecting many information and data. So quickly, what's the difference between information and data? Do you know the difference between information and data?
Information is processed, so it has a meaning.
Now, say something.
Data is just raw data, so it might not have a meaning.
Anyone wants to add something?
Data is more public, and also information is the pure and is more pure than data, and information is the real thing that we want. I think it is the difference about the data and information.
Okay.
And
If I
another,
say, okay, yes, please.
another difference is that data is unorganized while information is organized. So we can rely on information, but data needs to be directed, organized before relying on those.
Okay. If I say this brick wall is 7 meters, is it an information or data?
It's data.
What do you think?
I think it's
Ruda
information.
says it's data. Mustafa says it's information. Sorry, Mansour says it's information. What do you think? This brick wall is 7 meters. Is it data or information?
Information.
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 Rudis is right. This brick wall is 7 meters. It's a data. Why? Because it just gives me an abstract number. As she said, it has no meaning. Okay, 7 meters. Is it big? Is it small? Is it as planned? What do you mean? Okay, this wall is 7 meters. What's the benefit of knowing that this wall is 7 meters? If I say this brick wall is 7 meters, but it was planned to be 8 meters. Now, this is information. There is a meaning that we still need to work on this brick wall. Or we can say this brick wall is 7 meters, so it totally isolates this garden from the outside. It becomes information because it has a meaning. It has a purpose. So whenever we are collecting data in the project, these are abstract. As if I say, okay, you got 10 in this quiz. This is data. The grade of this quiz, 10. If I say it's 10 out of 10, it's different than saying it's 10 out of 20. Data is the raw number. You only had 10 grades. The first scenario, 10 out of 10, it means that you are 100% successful in meeting the requirements of this quiz. But 10 out of 20, you are 50% only. You are successful only 50% of meeting the requirements of this quiz. So data are numbers or characteristics or configurations that has no meaning. When you add a context, or maybe if you add different data together, you create a piece of information. And this piece of information has a meaning. What's the benefit of this? Is to make a decision. 10 out of 10, it means that the student passed. 10 out of 20, it means that the student failed. 7 meters out of 8 meters, it means that we are behind the requirements. 7 meters when we said that we will have a wall of 7 meters, it means that we are 100% on target. We created what we wanted, okay? So whether it's one data, one item of data, 2 items, 3 items, 10 items, it's still just abstract numbers. It has no meaning. When we add a meaning, it becomes information. You are informed. See, you are informed of something. And we need to communicate this information. If you go to the owner and you say, we built a brick wall of 7 meters, without transforming this data into information, we cannot take a decision. He will not be able to take a decision to approve the project or not. So we need to communicate control information. So we need to transform data into information, and we need to communicate control information with the right people so we take the right decisions. So that's why we create or generate reports. And you will find in project management, we work a lot with report. Sorry. Sorry. So we need to work a lot with reporting. And that's why if you want to work in the project management field, there is lots and lots of admin work. So you need first to measure whatever the configuration or the characteristic or the characteristics associated with your project, you need to measure it. That's why we create the system, the control system. Please measure the outputs at the end of the day. Please measure the progress at these checkpoints. Then, whatever we measured, we record it. We are still in the data side. We are still in the data side. So measure and record, we are dealing with the data. It has no meaning. But we add meaning by analyzing. Okay, what do these numbers mean? What do you mean? What having produced 70 items at the end of the day means? Oh, we can have more than one piece of data and we create a piece of information and we include it in the report. We send it to the right person and the right person acts upon it. They approve, they disapprove, they change something, they add something, they, for example, give us more more money to spend in very, very rare occasion, or maybe they have penalty or whatever the decision. So these are, this is the process of generating reports. I measure a data or a piece of data. I recorded the piece of data using the templates, for example, that we will create, or using the system, the computer system. Then I analyze it. Maybe there are certain formulas that I need to use. Then I act on it. I take a decision. That's why having a computer-based project management software or project management information system is valuable, very, very valuable. So what are, let's see together what's available online for this. What software that we can use. Okay. See here, for example, there is a software called Hakwa, and you can have this is a complex construction program. So it's specialized in construction, for example, and they have modules for government projects that could be different than modules for commercial projects, that could be different than having education projects or healthcare projects. We have, for example, Monday.com. I don't know if you have seen the ad for Monday.com, but they are all over the place on the internet, or maybe because I search a lot about project management, I receive their ads. So actually, in Monday.com, you manage teams. So you assign. Sometimes there is another software called Asana, and of course there is project management. The Microsoft project management. Okay, we have work here. It's the same like Monday. And for example, I worked with a company, Oracle, of course, have their project management. NetSuite, they have their project management. I worked with a company, they have a project management software specially for oil companies. And the first time I was saying, okay, what's the difference? It's a project. And they said, no, there are so many red tape, government policies, certain procedures. There are huge technical side of a project like this. So they spend years creating this project management software, and they are specialized in to work with oil companies only. And why we need this? Why we need a specific information system or a computer? Because the amount of data and information, sometimes it is huge. But again, sometimes if we are not careful and we don't take care of certain elements, we might face some challenges. For example, we might have what they call computer paralysis. So as if we are paralyzed and cannot move. Why? Because there are huge pieces of data that we have to collect, and this data is not value adding or solving any problem. Okay, so we are collecting all this data and it doesn't change anything, or it doesn't benefit us. Also project management information system verification. So the software treats certain data and hide problems. So some problems are not verified. We cannot see if we see all the problems or not. Or data overload. There is too much for everyone to make sense of and hence act effectively. So for this brick wall, I will give you information about, for example, the height, the width. It's okay. Yeah, it's acceptable. Number of bricks. Yes. And I will give you exact dimensions of every brick. Can you imagine the amount of data that we entered into the system? Okay, what's the benefit of having the dimensions of each brick if all bricks should be having the same dimensions? Nothing. So we have too much information, but we don't make sense of this information. So it's information overload. Isolation. Okay, the project manager becomes a slave to the computer and detached from what is really happening. And I have seen it. Some project manager I was working with, he was in his office all day. I don't know exactly if he was pretending or if he was doing, but he was always telling us there are so many things that he's doing, crunching numbers, doing something. And we became detached of him and he became detached of us. He didn't know what's really going on. Dependence apparently removes the role of problem analysis and decision making from managers, leading to less effective actions and removal of proactive problem solving. So we are too much dependent on the software that we cannot detect the problems before they come. So we are proactive, you know, in problem solving, finding innovative solutions to deal with problems, doing the analysis ourselves sometimes help us in understanding the problem and finding the right solution. The last one is misdirection. So um, we are dealing with problems. We are fighting fires, but not dealing with the root cause why fires happened in the first place. So we are dealing with the problems, but not the root causes within our project to prevent these problems from happening in the future. So it's good to have, of course, a project management software, but be aware that you manage the project, you manage the software doesn't manage you, and the software doesn't manage the project. Okay. Yes, we apply these control mechanisms and everything, but there are some limitations. So we cannot control everything. And also the nature of the baseline sometimes affects the control system that we have. The nature of the system being controlled. The project as a whole is a system. And the nature of this project, some projects will be so risky or some projects will be very unstable. It will affect our control. The limits of measurement and assessment. Maybe I don't have the right tools. Maybe I don't have access to the right tools. Maybe I use not the right ways to assess. I will talk, I think I have presentations for these. No, okay. So also control as a negative idea. This is very, very important. People, they don't like control. The word control have a bitter meaning. Oh, you want to control me? I'm uncontrollable, something like this. And this is the paradox of control. We need to have control, but we don't need too much control or too little control. So we need a balanced approach. So sometimes it's difficult to say what's the right amount of control. If I'm trying to control a production line, how many pieces I take as a sample? I might go to the upper limit, I might go to the lower limit. And every scenario has its pros and cons. And about the negative idea that we have about control, if I don't manage the team carefully, they might feel that I'm suffocating them, or I'm not allowing them the amount of creativity and flexibility that they need. So let's have this discussion. Why is making progress visible so important? We talked earlier that it's important to make progress of the project visible to everyone. So I want you to come up with some reasons why making progress visible for everyone in the project is so important. So let's go into our groups. And let's have our two groups. This time, I will give you 10 minutes, okay? Okay, welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, how was your discussion?
Good.
Okay, so why is making progress visible is so important? What do you think? I
Uh,
will be
uh,
very interested to hear you.
Me and Rhodas noted some uh, numbers here. May I
Okay,
share that?
yes, please do.
Okay, thank you. Uh, yes, thank you. The first one is this that making visible in progress to the employees or the worker make the employees to know that in which position of the project they are located, and also it makes the employee to feel that they are important part of the project, and it can be a motivation for the employees,
Mhm,
and also it shows that the project is going according to the schedule,
mhm,
or it is not going to it's not going according to the schedule, and then it belongs to the employees to work hard or no, to
mhm,
go normal and do their works normally. And the other one, the last one is this that it should that to see it makes the employee to see that they are going according to the schedule, the project schedule or not, or if they are back, they should work hard to reach to the location that the project is going on right now.
yes, this
These
is the yeah,
are
these are very
the
good points.
points
Yeah,
that we got.
yeah, these are very, very good points. Yeah,
Yes,
you want
another
to add
point
something?
was,
Mm,
yes, one point was, it can help make any stakeholder to be held accountable for their actions.
yes. Yes, yes, good one. Yeah, good one. Yeah, Mansoor and Sarah, what did you come up with?
Okay, so the points that we found are very much similar to the group one. So I would like to repeat. So the first thing is that we will know about the status of the project.
Mm-hmm,
We, as Amir said, we will know about the position that we are now.
mm-hmm,
So, and the next is that the team will understand the rules. So everybody will know what needs to be done next.
mm-hmm,
So, and what resources that we need, what resources that we need to allocate for the next phase of the project. This and making visible, making the data or information visible will help us that with the decision making process,
mm-hmm,
and also it will help us to make any necessary changes that is required. And if we sum up all these points, if we and also if we for example, if we know that what next what needs to be done next, and what we will need to do in the next phase,
mm-hmm,
all of these will save us time. So making the project data visible will also save us time. And another aspect that I think is important is the psychological reason of it,
mm-hmm,
is that um, if we involve the employees in the information process, they will be encouraged, and they will have a kind of a sense of ownership of the project, and this will boost your performance and will help the project.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. These are very, very good points. One point is Sometimes we have different teams within the project, and the progress for each team is different. And the overall progress of the project might be also different. So everyone in the team needs to understand this. Sometimes the performance differs from team to team, and these differences affect the overall progress of the project itself. And also, because we don't want to be in silos. You know what are silos? You know, these big construction that is built with wheat or grains. So in one location, you might have 3 or 4 silos. And the grains in this silo doesn't know anything about the grains in the other silo. And also in our organizations, we have this. We have multiple teams, and this team doesn't know anything about the other teams is doing, or the impact of the work that this team is doing. So we need to understand this. You have included many points regarding morality, regarding motivation, and this is very, very important to show this, to encourage employees and workers and everyone um, on the site or in the project team, to see, okay, how far did we go? How much did we accomplish? So this is very good. That's why we use a dashboard. Remember when we talked about visual representation of data? Some project management tools, they will provide you with a dashboard like what you have in the car or what you have in a plane, for example, and it will show you these dials and the graphs and numbers, so you can see exactly what you want. I want to search for some examples. For example, project management dashboard. So let's see the images. Okay. Let's have this one. Let's see this one. It is open. Okay. Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So this is a nice dashboard, and you will find that all this information included in this dashboard is like a summary of the whole project, and it's coming from the data that we put inside the project management software. So these are the phases: planning, design, development, testing. So we can see here that okay, the projected launch date. So this is as if we are counting down. We have 107 days until we launch this project, and we will do it on Friday, December 15th. Up till now, we finished the planning, we finished design, we are 67% finished of development, and we are waiting for testing. Let's see the budget. So the total budget, sorry, the total budget is in black. Green is budget amount used. How much did we use of the budget? And the target that, okay, at this date, we should, use this amount in gray. And we have, okay, the total budget, and we have remaining in our budget, and we have here that we are 8.1% over target. Here, for example, these are the tasks that are overdue. So this is very good. And you can see they use the color coding. So, okay, this task is 24 days overdue. And the deadline was this deadline. And who was responsible? George. Oh my God, George, you have to wake up. Nancy. Okay, 10 days. Not bad, but not good. 4 days, 1 day. Okay, so you can see here Paula, for example, when she sees that George is 24 days behind, oh my God, let me do my work quickly. I don't want to be in this list. For example, workload. Who is doing what? Oh my God, George, of course. That's why he's so late. He's taking 76% of the workload. Nancy, Richard, Kate, Paul or Paula, okay? And we have deadlines, okay? So this is one dashboard. So the progress is visible. Let's see another one to see a different approach. And actually, oh, that's too small. Choose another one that's not that small. Hopefully. Oh no, all are small. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, hopefully this one is big. See, here is another dashboard. Okay, they have all the milestones, they have the objective, we have 61 days, and we are 49% overall progress. These are the tasks, these are some graphs, these are, you know, a nice visual representation. So when you are working on your assignment as a team, do this the same way I did it. You know, let's say you are searching for charts. So project, oh, chart, template. Oh, I messed it up. Okay. See, I have all these templates. So you can see the difference. You can open one and see, okay. See another one. Okay, both are small. But in a nutshell, and compare these templates and see, okay, I need to add this, I need to add that. Okay, and create a template that's suitable to the field of the company that you chose. And have this having this visual representation will make it easier for us to, at a glance, see where are we. Of course, there are so many information associated with this representation. We need huge amount of information and data to process something like this. So, any questions? Any questions?
No.
Okay, perfect. So I expect that you finish your individual assignments as soon as possible. Please submit it. If you
No
have
problem.
issues, I know that a couple of you have some issues. Please email me. Mansoor, I received yours, so so it's okay. If you emailed me your your work, I only got from Rudis and Mansoor. If it happened that you emailed me your work and I didn't reply, I didn't acknowledge you now, it means that I did not receive it. So my email is hanan.awad@windsoruniversity1word.us. So send it to me as soon as possible. And start working on your group assignment. Right now we have a team. So the rest of you, please email me your teams. Okay? And don't forget the quiz.
Professor, the
Sorry,
timing
ma'am,
for the
we
quiz
have
is Washington time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is Washington time.
Professor. Sorry, we have right now we have two assignments. One is a group assignment, and
Yes. One is group assignment.
another is everyone.
Individual.
Mhm.
One is individual assignment. The deadline is today for the individual assignment. And one is group assignment, and the sorry. And the deadline is April 17th. And the quiz will end in 2 days. So I opened the window, I extended the window instead of 24 hours to 48 hours.
Thank you.
Okay, so see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.